Chase Elliott had some very interesting, eye-opening comments on Dale Jr. Download last week when Dale Jr., who was an executive producer of the Netflix documentary with NASCAR, asked Chase Elliott if he'd want to be a part of it if they get a season 2. Here's what Chase Elliott said.
So the Netflix show is apparently, been a good success. If Netflix does a season 2 and asks you to be a part of it, would you do it?
I don't know. Yeah, obviously I didn't do it last year. I haven't watched it at all. So I think my first step to
answering that question would be to watch it.
Answering that question would be to watch a little bit of it and just see how bad they would piss me off being around all the time. I just, it might not be the most entertaining thing or the most popular answer or whatever, but dude, I really just want to go fast and I want to do my job at a high level. And if I feel like there's anything that's going to take away from that, I'm probably going to say no to it.
Yeah. If something doesn't help that, it's not worth your time.
That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
Wow.
NASCAR a few years ago said boys have at it. After that, I'll say girls have at it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And we talked about this a little bit in the break. I can really see both sides of it, which I think is what makes this such a great topic to talk about. My very first reaction is, you didn't even watch it, Chase? Why didn't you watch? I mean, this is one of the biggest things to happen for our sport in a very long time to help propel it, forward. And it's we're like 4 months removed from it premiering, and he hasn't even listened to it or watched it. My second thought is, I always feel like when you're a part of something and you put all your energy into it, you want to make it better than you found it, right? So like for generations to come after him, if he were to put in the time and, have things where the most popular, he's our most popular driver. He is the straw that stirs the drink, for lack of a better term. We need him to help push the sport forward for the generations to come behind him. And it's just a little bit disappointing to hear that that's not even something that he's thinking about right now.
There's a reason Steve Phelps said he wished he had 36 Denny Hamlins.
Yeah.
Because Denny Hamlin isn't afraid to wear the mantle of the heel right now. He isn't afraid to open the doors of his Lake Norman mansion to Netflix. He isn't afraid to embrace what is necessary to grow the sport and make it bigger. I was at the first 5 races of the year, and every time some local reporter would ask, so what did you think about Netflix? It has tentacles that have reached way beyond our, the little box that the three of us live in. And it's big for the sport, and it has grown the sport. And if he's doing a disservice to the sport if he doesn't take part in it, and I understand he can do what Joey did, here, this is how I spend my day. I just don't want you in the house. So you got a glimmer of Joey, but, you can set limits with still saying, hey, I'm here, I am laser focused on competing, but here's my, here's where it ends.
So for those of us that did watch the Netflix docuseries, we do know, as you mentioned, that Denny Hamlin is pretty much the biggest character. He is featured the most in the show. It didn't slow him down any, He's out there winning races still, being competitive. So, playing devil's advocate, sure, Chase is like, okay, clearly he is not in a place on the racetrack that he wants to be. He has a long winless streak. He's trying to get back to victory, a long for him winless streak, trying to get back to victory lane. And so I do understand him saying, well, I just want to go fast. I just want to win races. But I think it's a little short-sighted to say that this is something that would pull so much focus from that you couldn't still go out and be competitive, because guess what? Other drivers are doing it.
My first inclination to Chase would be watch it.
Yeah.
Let's just first watch it and see what you think. You may have this expectation in your mind that, oh my gosh, it was such a draw on your time and they needed all of this from you. It would be such a distraction. Watch it. To your point, Lee, like guys gave different levels of access. Maybe don't give it all, but maybe give some. And I think it could help your brand. I think it could help push your sponsors. I think it helps, sell Chase Elliott, and he might be the most popular driver to us, but to the globe now, like all of these millions and millions of people, they have no idea who you are, dude.
Right.
Like, it could be good for you. It could be good for Hendrick. It could be good for Napa. And don't you owe them a little bit after all the distraction that you caused last year with the injury and the suspension? Like, the other thing, too, is like, let's see how it goes, because they document the postseason. Maybe if Chase has a successful regular season, rattles off some wins, builds a little bit of that confidence, gets his mojo back, maybe by September he'll be like, all right, fine. But I think right now in his head, he just had such a bad year last year that he doesn't want anyone to say, look at you.
Yeah.
You're doing things that aren't helping your performance. You're so distracted. Why don't you focus on winning races? Like, I don't think he wants anyone to add to that narrative. And he's laser focused on doing his job, which I don't blame him for. Like, he needs to get his career back on track a little bit.
Well, and, he needs to get healthy, right? And, shoulder surgery, leg surgery, it's a lot even at his age to do. But, Blaney's his buddy. I think if he watched it and, Blaney was there, Blaney would certainly give him input.
Yeah, and William Byron, I mean, he could look to him for what to expect from it. But I hope that he changes his mind.
Just watch it. The other
Give
thing
him
I
a
thought
day.
was funny, he's telling the executive producer, Dale Jr., that he didn't want to be a
I
part
know.
of it. And I'm like,
Hysterical.
he's the EP. It was great.